everyone, and welcome to the Gaming Corner podcast. And believe it or not, we actually do play video games. So let's talk about it. I'm your host, Jeff, and joining me today is Daniel, aka Dance Warrior 777.
Hi, it's wonderful to be back, Jeff, to yet another episode.
Another episode of the Gaming Corner podcast. How have you been doing?
Alive, awake, streaming occasionally. Things are going well.
Awesome. Playing any interesting games?
I mean, right now, I wanted to see how far I could get in Cookie Clicker before this podcast officially started, and I would, it's been fun. It's a fun little achievement. Games I've been playing right now, I've been trying to grind out League of Legends to get through some of the season pass for the daily rewards, and, what have I been streaming lately? I streamed some of The Long Dark, since they had their Halloween event. Wait, did I stream that? Or did I play that solo? I think I played some of it solo and I streamed some of it. I also played a little bit of... My brain needs a refresher.
That's an interesting game title.
Yeah, no. Layers of Fear 2. That's what I streamed for Halloween. Layers of Fear 2. I actually beat the main campaign.
Nice.
Which, speaking of our topic of today,
We'll get to that.
There's a new game plus mode. That's all I will say.
All right.
In a horror game.
Let's save that for the topic. We'll move on to our next guest, Adam.
Oh,
how are you doing, my friend?
Pretty good.
How was your week?
Overall, not too bad. Life went on.
Have you played any interesting games over the last couple weeks?
Nothing particularly interesting. I've been playing, essentially just Genshin Impact, however the heck you want to say it. Quite a bit, working on the dailies and stuff. Just slowly working my way through that game just for the fun of it. Warming up for another pass on Factorio. But I haven't been playing games as much the past couple of weeks. As I've said in previous episodes, most of the time I read a lot, and for a while there I was on a big game cycle, but now I'm back on a pretty hard reading cycle, so a lot of my free time is actually reading, not playing games right now.
All right, well, that sounds good. And guys, rejoining us this week is Henry. Hey, Henry.
A truant.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, welcome back. How are your allergies treating you?
Oh my god, I want to die still.
Well, it sounds like it's at least an improvement from last time.
Oh, where I was actually dead? Yeah, probably.
How about you? Have you been playing any interesting games?
Oh, hell no, dude. I've been so mentally burnt out this week, it's not even funny.
Fair enough.
What have you been playing, if anything?
Nothing. I've literally just come home and done nothing except sit at my computer and just stare at the screens.
Yeah,
and hope I could find something to do.
I find it deeply amusing that we just had Halloween and everyone's like trying to get through their horror games and they're on this big horror games kick, and it's like, I don't need that kind of stress in my life right now. This week has been bad enough as it is.
Yeah, the closest I got to any horror games over the last week for Halloween was Luigi's Mansion 3.
Dude.
The terror.
So I didn't realize it, but apparently they made a third Amnesia game, and I was so excited to see about that.
Mm-hmm. They did.
I heard about it, yep.
Dude, I didn't hear a goddamn thing about it until all of a sudden Steam's like, hey, do you want to purchase Amnesia...
Rebirth.
And it was just like, what the fuck's this? And I'm like, is this like a remake? Is this a new game? Look at it. It's a whole new game. And I'm like, this is awesome. And then you look at the price, it's like $30 too. I'm like, holy fuck.
To quote Donkey, now that's a masterpiece for your wallet.
Dude, it's so... Like, I haven't bought it, but I did watch Markiplier playing it.
Yeah, I saw it. So
that was pretty exciting for horror games that came out that actually like interesting to me for new stuff. Then they have like that other horror ghost hunting game that came out too.
Was it Phasmophobia?
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Yeah. I play it in VR. It's a lot of fun because
I think VR might actually be the best way to play that.
Like
there you go. Henry's making strides towards VR.
And then there's me. So I have a story. That's all right.
Go ahead.
Story time
with Daniel.
So in Phasmophobia, I played in VR, And so everyone else is like playing it seriously from their computer. They're like, all right, we picked this up. We got to do the ghost. They turn around. They see me. In VR, you don't have like item slots. You have a tool belt that you can equip the things to. But they're still fully functional in VR. So I grabbed 3 candles, lit them all, strapped them to my tool belt, and held a crucifix and said, I am the holy light, fear me thy ghost, as I ran into the building. and on everyone else's screen, they just see this man with candles where his belt loops are supposed to be, running with a crucifix at Mach 12. Or as fast as that game allows.
Honestly, that sounds like it would be in the blooper scene from The Exorcist.
Doesn't it just? But since we did brought up VR real quick, I will say that despite the fact that my inner ear hates me, I think a lot of the reason they're not like super hot on VR is that like for a long time VR was kind of one of two things. You either had VR experiences where like they're like, look at the pretty VR graphics, you're supposed to like pick up a banana and freak out that you picked up a banana in VR, but they weren't really a game, per se. Really, they were just an experience to demonstrate the capabilities of VR.
If anything, I think of it as like a engine kind of like testing thing.
Exactly.
Like, this is
that was the type of thing that they were, like, to demonstrate the capabilities of the engine, and then you could buy it and fool around in it, and that's what we got most of the time. Or it was an older game where they basically just, strapped you into VR controls of it, and, with no regard to your inner ear, and let you loose. And the quality of these, dare I call them ports, like adjusted control schemas, are
like Skyrim.
Yeah, those type of ones are, they varied. And the point I'm trying to make here is that they basically took games that were already good and now you can play them in VR. But but at the same time, like, what is VR bringing to that experience particularly? The big thing is that we're finally starting to see actual games designed around VR,
like Half-Life Alyx, right?
Yeah, there's a handful of games that we're just starting to start to hear about development where they're specifically for VR, and they're trying to take advantage of the unique benefits that VR offers to create something to create a game that that would be better than it would be without VR. That's the type of thing. And like that needs to become a thing before like VR really catches on. People are like, oh, if I really want to experience this game, if I want to get like the true, like the best, like if I cannot get the same experience without VR, then they're like, well, maybe I should get VR so I can experience this game. But up until relatively recently, those type of things didn't exist. Is that kind of?
Yes.
I was gonna say that's my perspective anyway on VR and sort of why it's sort of been plodding along very slowly, kind of picking up steam.
My experience with VR so far is, ooh, these markers draw in 3 dimensions. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's when I was just starting out. And
I was enamored by that.
It's awesome. Adam loved it. He was just in VR for probably a solid half hour with just the draw function. I remember he's like, I can draw in 3-dimensional space. This explains all the formulas I've been doing.
It's a magical experience.
It really is.
Anyway,
like, there are like, I'm not saying that that's like a bad thing. Like, it was really fun, but it wasn't like
that was that whole thing where you're supposed to pick up the
I'm
banana
not paying,
and be in maze.
I'm not getting a laptop that could drive half of NASA's research division, and paying Lord knows how much for a headset just to draw in 3-dimensional space. It's not. It was cool, but it wasn't that cool.
It's a far cry from Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
Anyway, all that aside,
and
guys.
I want to say I'm not expecting Sword Art Online, but Like, I think there's a lot of potential in VR medium, and I think we're just starting to see it get tapped. And I think part of it is this kind of, and the reason it's kind of been taking so long is we're in this kind of weird quasi state where there's not enough, the body of work for VR that really takes advantage of it is not large enough to like pull in a huge like dedicated audience, which means that there's not as many VR consoles and headsets and stuff like that are in use in operation, which means that the market for, you know, VR games and tools and stuff is a lot smaller, and so companies are less likely to then make that. Are you getting the cyclical logic I'm setting up here? Make the VR experience. Like, that's why it's taking so long. Like, once it gets moving, it'll get moving. But like right now, it's in this, you know, you can't make it. There aren't enough games, which means there aren't enough people with VR headsets, which means developers don't want to make games, but you get the idea.
Yep.
So that's sort of like that. That's why it sprang into existence and then it's sort of like just sitting there and like slowly bubbling away. But I see great potential in it. Like, just I'm waiting for that potential to really come to fruition.
Hey, you know, it'd be really cool to really make
the podcast.
No, to make VR to make VR skyrocket into being a big thing would be if you could incorporate sports, because everybody loves fucking sports. If you could make it where a VR headset would sit where like an audience member would be, especially during like what's going on now with the fucking virus.
So use a 360
I've
camera.
heard of this.
Use a 360
And have
camera
a 3D camera, and you would like use the joystick or something, or however you want, or even like the I assume the headset itself has some type of like
Gyro.
yes, some type of
Yeah,
gyro.
it has a gyro to show where you're looking.
Yep. So it would be something like that, and whatever way you would end up like turning in that, it would automatically turn the camera so that way you'd be able to watch it as well. Where
So
you could then get to experience being there at the game without having to be there. Plus, it would be cool too for people who like handy-capable people. Would be nice as well for them to be able to like go and experience different types of events or activities that they're not normally able to experience.
Yeah, that would be really neat. And like you said, especially in this current time.
Yeah, the only question I have about that being a thing, and I think that's a really cool idea, is bandwidth. Is it like how beefy is that data stream for a VR headset? Because like if you were really close to the event, like you would look and like as you turn your head, it would be like a remote control for a camera.
Either that or a 3D camera.
But you couldn't do that if you wanted a bunch of people sharing the same thing. You need like a full spectrum 3D camera. But like then you have to send that entire image file. Well, it's not an image file; it's a video file. But you have to send you have to stream like a much larger than like a standard little, 720p or even a 4K square. You're like to get decent resolution, you're gonna have to have it's gonna be a huge amount of, because you're sending a whole bunch of like streams at once. Like I don't know how much bandwidth that day. It's a cool idea. Like I like the idea a lot. The only thing I could see stopping that would be like bandwidth and getting the right type of camera setup. Because if you had like a 3D camera that was just recording everything from a couple positions, then you could like people could be watching from home with their VR headset. They could all share that same camera.
Or instead of like individual seats, maybe they would do like the regular like sports cameras that record the game and everything. So then you'd be able to like shift between the different cameras.
Because those are already broadcasting on TV and stuff.
And so then also like during football games, they have the drones flying above head. Imagine being able to like see that first person from that angle of the game and be able to just watch it from that. Like, it'd be a whole different way to be able to experience that then.
Like, yeah, if you could get in that market, you probably have to pay some premium to get that feed, but I imagine many people would.
Absolutely, they would.
Sit at home to watch the games. You can like jump to your different cameras as you're watching it, and then you can, when they're doing the replays, you could be like jumping to different perspectives to see what's happening in the replay.
All I can see is someone zooming into the drone and just smacking one of the fucking
Oh, well, your viewers
One
at
of the
home
players-
wouldn't have control of the
one of the-
throne.
No, they absolutely would not have
No.
control. They just get to look. They just get to see the
different
camera.
feeds.
It's like, that guy's about to get a touchdown. Let me stop him now.
The problem,
Yeah, right?
the other thing is that for like these major sporting events, piecing together what they're showing like on the screen at any time is like the job of a huge production crew. So it could get kind of interesting to make sure that like you have the right feeds. Like, would they curate what feed they were showing you all the time, or would you have the option to jump to a couple? Like, observing is actually like a pretty complicated process, especially in real time.
For sure. Okay, well, all that said, it's good to have you guys here. Thank you for joining me for episode
After
4
our
of the
little,
Gaming Corner podcast.
There's a little bonus nugget for all our listeners.
I do have one little bit of info that I do want to share, though, before we actually jump into our topic. An interesting news story happened in the last week, October 28th. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but when the new Xbox was released, you know what the Xbox Series X looks like, right? It's basically just a big cube.
The mini fridge?
The
mini
fridge.
fridge.
The mini fridge.
fridge.
So you are familiar with the fridge meme. Like, people
Yes.
people made, for anybody not familiar, people made memes of like a picture of a kitchen showing the Xbox Series X where the fridge should be. And, well, apparently Microsoft saw it.
Oh, no.
And they've embraced it. And, gentlemen, I want you to turn your attention to the chat.
No.
I am right now.
Microsoft has actually developed an Xbox Series X fridge.
Huh.
A functioning fridge.
Is it network based?
No, it's just a refrigerator.
That's kind of
Yeah.
lame. I want it to be networked.
And here's the funny part.
Yes.
It's the actual Xbox down below it.
Yeah, it's actually scaled exactly correctly with the Xbox Series X, but the funnier part is it's exactly the same price as the Xbox Series X. It's $500.
That's actually not bad. I'm not too upset about that.
Me either.
That's
So,
awesome.
for a custom fridge, I mean, even given the size, and I don't know the precise dimensions, I assume it's a mini fridge, not a
No, it's a
Full-size
full-size fridge.
full size fridge. $500. No, that's
Ooh,
good
that's
price.
good. That's very good.
I was gonna say
And-
you can't get a mini fridge for less than $100 nowadays.
And one more
full-size
thing
fridges can be
to
a lot
note
more.
with this is that
Oh, no.
the
No.
slogan for
No.
the Xbox Series X slash Series X slash Series S, I mean, the slogan is "Power Your Dreams." Well, there's a slogan
No.
that came out with this that said "Power Your Memes." So Xbox is very familiar with this meme culture. I
mean-
love it.
Like, could you imagine? Oh gosh, but yeah, no. But like, the funny thing is that it actually looks like it looks nice. Like, I could see a lot of more modern kitchens where that would be like a real sleek looking thing.
Oh,
Like,
I
like,
love it so
obviously,
much.
it's not like some stainless steel brushed French door.
Not
you know,
for $500,
two-
no.
you
Oh,
know, $1,000 plus, ode to food storage, but
And I forget what it does, but I
That's
think
pretty
when you
cool.
open it, it makes like the Xbox boot up noise. So there you go.
Fuel your hunger.
like
Fuel the
seriously though, like what gamers den is complete without that for their fridge.
I know. I want it. Like when
Like seriously,
when
like
Sky and I do our kitchen
not your
renovation,
kitchen.
that's
you
what I
probably
want.
something a little less on the nose in the kitchen, but your gamer's den for your Mountain Dew storage, like holy yeah,
Heck no, I want it in my kitchen.
yeah. Clearly, you also want a divorce.
Oh!
Oh no.
Yikes! Shots fired.
So then I would have the Xbox. I'd have the Xbox controller. I'd have the Xbox refrigerator, and still no Xbox system.
All for the low price of $500.
The only Xbox in this house is the fridge.
Son,
I feel
we
like
have
that-
an Xbox at home. The Xbox at home.
It shows the fridge open like full of Mountain Dew or water bottles or something.
Hey guys, if this is what Xbox did, do you think PlayStation's going to try to one-up them with the Wi-Fi router?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what they need to do next. Although that could be legitimately confusing. Weird surge in Wi-Fi router purchases have been recorded over the last few weeks. Customers are furious. I thought it was suspicious that I was getting a Wi-Fi router for $500.
Man, you can't even play games on this thing. It sucks.
It's not even a good router.
Oh.
All right,
awful,
well,
man.
that fun subtopic aside, I really did just want to bring that up to you guys. I found it hilarious. Anyway,
it was all right. Yeah, we didn't laugh that hard.
So with that, guys, let's finally jump into our topic for today. Chase suggested a topic for us. Our good friend Chase. Hello, Chase.
Hi.
Hi.
Chase.
So Chase asks us a question for today's discussion. When do we 100% complete a video game? So I'm not exactly sure where to start with this, but there is a lot to completing a game these days, and frankly, I don't even know what it means to 100% complete a game these days. What do you guys think it means? Does it mean collecting everything in the game? Does it mean achievement hunting?
I mean, the real question you should ask here is, what does it mean for us to finish a game? Not complete a game. Because 100% completing a game is 100% completing the game.
Thank you for that A equals A statement. But
for each of us, finishing a game is different than completing it. Because for some games, it's like, we made it to the end, it was a good story, that is all. And then there's other games where it's like, I want to keep going, you know, is there more?
Well, the question, Dan, is when do we 100% complete a video game?
Yeah. When do we strive to fully finish it?
Yeah, what is it about a video game that when you're playing it makes you think, I want to 100% complete this? I want to go all full Gerard the Completionist on this. What makes you want to do that? What games do you want to do that for? There's a lot of questions to start off with here, or to ask here, but what do we start out with? How do we want to define this?
Well, do we want to start with from that angle, or do we want to say like there are kind of some broad categories we can tuck games into that, you know, like certain games are not meant to be completed at all?
Right, let's start with that. Yeah. So
like we're I guess we're saying is this question is kind of directed at let's call them discrete games where like
self-contained packages.
Well, yeah, discrete games as opposed to a continuous game, like something like League of Legends would be a continuous game. You're going to keep playing it to, it just, you know, it stretches from its, you know, beginning point to some, you know, some huge long string. You're just always playing it, as opposed to like a discrete experience where we're looking at like, you start the story, you play to the end, you play through, you get to the end of the story, and that is the game. Like reading a book would be a discrete experience almost. Like,
right.
Just so we have some terminology to work with like that. Like, I think to keep this from turning into another marathon, maybe we should.
It's going to be a marathon. There's a lot to this one, but
yeah, there is. But like, maybe we should limit the marathon to more discrete experiences.
Yeah. So it sounds like
games that can be completed to a certain extent.
Right, so right off the bat, it sounds like we want to exclude the competitive multiplayer online games like League of Legends or Fortnite or Fall Guys or those games. Those games that don't have a definitive end to them, those ones that there really isn't 100% completing to it. You just keep playing and playing.
You can do all the achievements.
For the games that have achievements.
Right.
Like League of Legends, I don't think has an achievement system, does it?
Yeah,
it used to.
Did it?
Yeah.
Henry, did you 100% complete League of Legends?
Fuck no, I wasn't a high enough level to even look at the achievements.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well...
Also, you could say ranked is an achievement system to be the best of the
fuck
best.
That.
So, we want to exclude most of those games, then, that are focused on the competitive multiplayer, and that's pretty much it. That still leaves us with a lot of games to cover.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of games, and like in the category of discrete games, there's like a whole bunch of variation there. But I thought like we should open the discussion with like setting some boundaries and like
Absolutely.
laying out some basic terminology so that we all kind of on the same page here what we're talking about.
Absolutely. I totally agree. We got to narrow it down as much as we can.
Just to, make the conversation, just to give context to the conversation. So, to your original question, when do we 100% a game? When and why do we 100% complete a video game? Lord alive.
You got there.
I did.
Proud of you, dude.
And what about a game? Like, when do we really want to in a game? Or like, when is it like we just complete the storyline, that was good enough? And when is it like we want to keep playing, we want to 100% complete it, we're getting sucked in?
So one more thing before we really dive deep into the discussion that I want to bring up is completing a video game. Just the idea of completing a video game has changed a lot since the early days of video games. I don't think there was any completing to an Atari game, for example. Like, that's another type of game we can exclude, is the arcade games. Damn. But let's say starting with the NES, your completion requirements for, say, The Legend of Zelda or Super Mario Bros. 3, it's pretty... I mean, obviously it varies between those two games, but it's still pretty well defined and pretty well contained within just the game itself. You move on to, say... Go ahead, Adam, what's up?
Oh, no, I was finish your point.
Oh, okay. So you move on, and eventually, I believe, in the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 days is when achievements started to become a real big thing. And that could also be considered completion criteria. And you just keep moving on. We get to the DLC era. Do we include that? A lot of ground to cover. So I just wanted to bring that up.
What's even funnier is... Oh, you first.
Okay. I was going to say that actually brings up like the way Jeff was talking about that brought like, there are a lot of games that we play, non-video games that we play, think checkers, chess, card games, where like there is like a discrete instance of a game might have like you play till someone wins or you play to a certain condition and then it's done, but you'll go back and play that game again. Like it's a way to entertain yourself. Mm-hmm. And so or interact with other people so that it's, replayability as you were just to, just made me think of that when we talk about video games, you bring in like a story element where it's like you play it once, but do you want to play it again? Have you already like that you've seen the story once? Now you're good. So just that idea that the idea of a discrete gaming experience that you would only do once or a couple of times is sort of is more akin to like a book than it is to a video game or to a board game, to like an old style game. That was the comparison that was the point I was going to bring up. So Daniel, what were you going to say?
Brain died. Oh, okay, I got it back now. Jeff said the Xbox era is where achievements started, but that's actually not the original inspiration. Hilariously, the original inspiration goes back to Jeffrey's era, the good old arcade cabinets. Back in those days, there used to be things called badges, in which if you held a high score and someone could verify it for you, you could actually get a patch that symbolized you could get it had to be sent from like the original company, but there were patches which would symbolize that you had reached a certain high score in a game. That's actually where my inspiration. I want to do it sometime if my channel gets big enough to do a gamer jacket in which I iron on a patch for each achievement that I achieve in a game.
That would actually be pretty neat.
Yep, that was back in, I think, the Atari era is when that happened. I'm going to actually look a few up for you, and I'll just put it in the discussion chat while you guys are talking. Give me something to do. But yes, achievements started way back in time. Also, don't forget, Jeff, about contest winners. There used to be some contest where it said, hey, if you could beat this game in this period of time, you'd get a thing. and that was also used as a marketing campaign, was achievements. So,
Okay, those are all interesting points. I hadn't
So-
thought about those.
Henry, any opening thoughts?
Yes.
Well, enlighten us.
No.
Well, moving on then, Jeff. Let's see here.
All right, so
No.
oh, go ahead.
I don't know. For 100%ing a game,
Now he's doing it too. Jeff, we're losing it.
I'm stroking out.
It's the allergies.
I don't know. Usually collectibles are a big thing for 100%ing kinds of games and stuff, as well as like bonus objectives for the main story quests. For in my mind, because like you could play through the main story of the game and just play through the story, but then there's all those like extra hours of gameplay put into it that the developers wanted you to go back through, I suppose, and collect and unlock extra shit for them and yourself to look at to get more in depth for the storyline of the game to get the full immersion, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, nothing too crazy. But like you guys were saying, anything that's like endless, it's kind of just meh. Like fucking Minecraft. You'll never 100% Minecraft. Well, I mean,
There are
if you look at the
achievements, but
achievements,
that's-
yeah, if you look at the achievements and you just want to do all of them, hit the marks for those, then I guess you could technically 100% it. But like I guess that would be like the basis of it is like what the game company and developers wanted you to fully do in the game, huh?
Mhm.
Because like achievements were always a nice thing added into it. Like here's a challenge we thought of and specifically put into the game for you to try and complete. And if you hit that mark, here's a trophy or an achievement tag or some shit like that that would just pop up and be like, good job, you did what we thought you could do from the very start. Look at you go.
Yeah, and those can be fun.
Yeah.
I do like the little achievements that they give you to try and strive for, but we'll get more into depth about that, yeah?
Yeah.
Great. Any other opening thoughts you have, Hen?
No.
Okay. So
no.
So I think we should probably, kind of categorize the different types of completion of a game to get us started here. So, in my mind, there, like I previously stated, there were kind of eras and types of completions. The early era was more or less like, say Super Mario Bros., for example, on the NES. Your completion of that game would basically just be, if you just get to the end, beat the game, and then you have a second quest and you can beat it again. But if you wanted to go real hardcore with it, you could just beat every level. And that was it. That's kind of what I think of as the first general type of completion. The second major type, I feel like came with the Collectathon. Your Mario 64s, your Spyro the Dragons, your Banjo-Kazooies, even Crash Bandicoot to an extent. That era kind of introduced the Collectathon kind of gameplay, where, like, you can get to the end without collecting everything, but, there's tons of goodies to collect, and once you've collected them, 100% completion, whether there's a reward or not, depended on the game. And then you get to the achievement era, which, now that I think about it, I think Spyro, the first Spyro games, kind of had an achievement system, right? Like skill points or something like that.
Well,
like Spyro
No.
2 and
First
3.
one,
No.
the second.
second one had the secrets.
It
Yeah.
did have skill points, I believe.
Skill. It
Yeah.
had like secret skills. You
The
had to
reason
try
I'm
and
thinking
pull off.
of like the first Spyro is because they did bring skill points to the Reignited trilogy version of Game 1.
Probably a better one would be like Ratchet and Clank.
Clank.
Ratchet and
I
Clank's a good
love
one
how
too.
we both said it. Well, what's funny about that one actually shows you a progression of skills for replayability, which is really interesting. Because the first Ratchet and Clank, you had no idea what the skills were. Second one, you knew where the planet, and you had the title of. No, you didn't have the title of the skill, but you knew there was a skill on a planet that you could achieve. The third one, they gave you the title of the skill, and they told you where the skill could be done, but there was no descriptor.
Mhm.
So you had to do like hell and high water guesswork. And then you have the fourth one, Deadlock, which me and Adam would play a lot. Those skills were actually integral part of the game, in which you had to get enough. I think you had to get enough skills to unlock certain challenges or go farther in the story. I can't remember 100%. I think you had to get stars to advance. But anyway, they would tell you how to do the skill, and you would actually get bonus cash for doing it. But doing the skills also rewarded you with other things. So it went from guesswork to try and figure out the achievements to literally do the achievement, get thing. And I find that very interesting as the time progression through the games.
So we've got there where it kind of starts encouraging you to do stuff outside of what you would normally do in the main game. You're not just finishing the level. You're not just collecting the in-game collectibles. You're also doing these challenges that the developer gives you. And that advanced into the PS3 and Xbox 360 era where it became like a system-wide, game-wide thing. Like the systems had for each game specific challenges for it. And that
also...
Go ahead.
You have to remember, Jeff, another important thing they put during the Xbox and PlayStation era, they put value onto achievements. So certain
Gamer
achievements
points
were
or trophy
worth
numbers
more than the other, correct.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you'd unlock cosmetics if you could get certain achievements.
See, that's all kind of alien to me because I was on Nintendo platforms. They still don't have those.
You do remember Gamer Score, which is, that's what it was. You got points based on how difficult the achievement was, and so profiles would have certain amounts. Here's an interesting thing was an Xbox playtester, I think it was an Xbox playtester, once upon a time would casually play games and test them out, but he got so many gamer points. He had about I can't even remember. It was like 300,000. Just an insane number. I'm gonna look up like who has the most. What's the highest gamer score? Just cause.
All right, Adam, you wanted to make a point?
Yeah, 2. How'd you know?
Han, did you have something?
No, that's just 2.
I think I had 2 gamer points.
Yeah. Jeff got it.
Same wavelength, my dude. Same wavelength.
Hell yeah,
I was
brother.
gonna say I think
distance
part
high
of
five.
what these achievements are stem from is that when people played the game, and I think this kind of harkens back to that older era where maybe this is, Super Mario Bros. Or whatever is like the only game you have for this system, and it's the only one you're going to have, from this Christmas till next Christmas. And it's legit the only game in the system, so you're just going to keep playing it because it's what you got. It's either, that type of scenario. And like when you're in that's like nowadays we are spoiled for choice in gaming for the most part. Like we have so many options, but like if you're in that scenario where you only have a few games and you just keep going back and playing them again, maybe you want to do that because you enjoy them so much, you will come up with like trick things you can do or little, I can do this I can do this to make this whole thing faster. And like the whole idea of like a speed run.
Mario 64.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say like, and so like some achievements like that, like it's like type of thing like you'd be like to your friend, like, hey, come over here. Let me show you. I can do this. Watch how fast I can do this level. Bing, bling, bing, bing. Or, can you get up to this platform without touching this platform or that platform? I could do some, crazy maneuver off the back of a bird, whatever. And it's like, that's like the sort of, the feeling I think that achievements are originally supposed to evoke. It's like, like show that you can do this thing that is, the heart, the achievement. It's like that idea of finding like ways you can do things better. You can problem solve or like do tricks in a game is something that people always do. Like think about like Super Mario 64 speed runs because Jeff does them and watches people do them. Like how many hours people had to pour over this game to like find every little nitty gritty exploit and trick they could pull off. And
yeah, do you know how long it took me to figure out how to do that backwards bomb thing through the chain chomp gate?
Yeah,
took me a long
I
time
know.
to
Your
get
second
that.
try. Nope, second try.
Like maybe
Well,
like
that
his
sounds
second
right.
week.
Second try sounds right. Yeah.
His second week of trying, maybe.
No way. Nah.
But
Just
I
an
was
expert.
there. Let me tell you something. But that was the sort of. But like, you see what I'm saying? Like people, like not all games get this in general, but people like to demonstrate their skill in like a game or something like this by doing things that are difficult or stuff like that. And like, so that's like where achievements come from. This is just sort of the developer, like sort of pointing out, can you do this thing?
Yep, that seems like a good explanation of the achievements. But that's
Well,
like
I
the
think
next
that's-
kind of level of completion for these games when they introduce the achievements. And
It's like, yeah, I do want to point out that that's, I think, where achievements started.
yeah,
And I think now, and I think in games today, that's maybe like they hand out achievements for like everything, it feels like. But the
Depends
higher
on the
level, it does depend on the game. But the higher level achievements, the like the cool extra stuff on top, like the is I think, you know, in my, you know, achievements shouldn't just be real. Achievements shouldn't be, ooh, you completed the story. Well, it's like, yes, the whole point was to complete the story. I don't need an achievement for that. Like, you know, but like doing this thing that is, I think sometimes originally the achievements were something that was completely external to the game, i.e. the players were doing it for fun in essence. And then they made it, you know, you add like little things for people that, you know, are completely extraneous to the game, and now they've slowly gotten like tied deeper into the game, if from any game. So just a like sort of like the evolution of achievements and is part of this discussion here. But but those old style achievements, especially, I think they started out as things like, ooh, look what I can do. You know, grab your little brother and show him that, you know, you can do this trick. I can do this trick, but you can't. Well, ha 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 ha.
Yeah. So I'm with that. I'm not as evil brother mwahahaing, but it was definitely a show of skill, a show of mastery in a video game. Because a lot of times people would play video games and other people would watch and be like, well, cool, you can push buttons, but what does that prove? Because during that time, you got to remember, there's all these other skills like, wow, this person can make a glass. Wow, you know, this person could build a car. And there was something to show for it, and the person could display skill. But I think achievements was just also to say, you know, or even to show a comparison, because there wasn't an online sort of high score system even back in those days. So people were like, well, I'm really good at this game, but had nothing to really compare their skill to or have a goal.
mm-hmm.
Unless the games were outright scored.
Right, but even then, because remember, older systems, well, yeah, like an arcade cabinet, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah, think like original Donkey Kong or something.
So
They just have a score.
So to wrap that around to the main point, like those are the three major categories of completion. Like call it the three levels of completion that I would say are in the game industry as a whole. You've got finishing the game to start out with. That's your first level. The second level is completion, in which you collect all the items in the game or all things of interest in the game. Say 120 stars in Mario 64 for an easy example. And your third level of completion, I would say, is achievement hunters. Would we say that we agree to that, or is there another level anyone else wants to bring up?
So, beginner, intermediate, hardcore.
Speed running with both hands behind your back and one eye blindfolded. There's your tier 4.
I have a story for you if
Tier
you want
4
to
is
say
godlike.
that. Well, if you want to talk about it, someone beat the final boss of Punch-Out blindfolded.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like that's an impressive feat, but it sounds more impressive than it actually is because the NES era, like especially with Punch Out, very predictable patterns those bosses had. And like again, it's an impressive feat, but you know, it might not be as impressive as you think it is.
I mean, it took, I think, what, months of training to get to that point.
No, I'm
And
sure.
then there were people that did it blindfolded without audio cues. So
Well, at that point, it's just a pure memorization exercise.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think an equally impressive feat to me is when someone beat the original Legend of Zelda game without picking up the sword. Like that's impressive
that is
to
a
me.
thing.
That is a thing.
That is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was done.
All right. Anyway, so those are our 3 levels of completing a video game: finish, completion, and achievement hunter. So, I feel like I, in particular, never have been much of an achievement hunter. There was like a period of a couple months, maybe a year or two, when I was into achievement. But usually for me, when I tried to complete a video game, I was pretty much satisfied with just getting all the collectibles. But again, that varied on the game and the system even. Where do you guys think that you line up for the most part? I know that's kind of a broad, sweeping question, but generally, where would you see yourself fitting? Henry, in particular, I remember you used to be quite the achievement hunter.
I am 100%.
Are you
I
still?
still am.
You
Yeah,
still are.
it's awful. Yeah. Fucking play video games and it's just all of a sudden you like get through the main story and it's like, congratulations, you completed 20 out of 60 achievements. You're just like, what the fuck did I miss?
Or like in an in the achievement list,
Henry's
one
still
of
rolling
the
up his
50
sleeves to get
achievements
on the
is
waiters.
one of the 50 achievements is collect 100% of the items.
Oh my god, that's so fucking obnoxious.
I hate that.
Like Assassin's Creed, the first one was pretty bad with that because you didn't have any way of like purchasing a map or anything with like the locations of the items and stuff. So
Oh,
you'd have
right.
to go you'd have to look online that somebody made an interactive map with, and then make a little tick box every time you collect the fucking collectible for there because there was like 100 flags in each of the areas. And it was total dog shit bullshit. Whereas like later on they're like, you know what, let's make this a little easy, and you could go to a bullshit shop and be like, all right, can I have all the collectibles in this area? Yeah, like in-game currency, done. Sweet, got it. Fucking don't have to worry about it anymore. And then you can just play the game and you're like, oh, I'm buy a couple collectibles, la-di-da-di-da, fucking go at it that way, yeah? Whereas with like Assassin's Creed 1, you didn't want to collect any of those things until you were going to collect all of them, because otherwise on that map you'd be like, all right, so theoretically there should be one here, but I don't see it. Now, did I collect it, or is the game bugged and it's just not like spawning here like it should?
With
'Cause
Ubisoft,
there's a
you
couple
never
people
know.
you had to, dude, right? And it was a couple like Templars you had to kill too that may like bug out or some weird shit. But no, I'm still heavy achievement hunter level fucking completionist.
Sounds about right. What about you guys? Daniel, Adam?
I already sent you my statistics.
You sent me this picture here, the picture with the 3 patches or whatever. Activision.
Oh, in the game chat. Well, what that is, if you read it, it shows you the score you had to achieve in the tank game. I don't even know. It says in the upper left of the picture.
60 tanks. 48 tanks.
Robot Tank. The game
Robot
Robot
Tank,
Tank by Activision. 48 tanks, you could get this literal patch and iron it on. 60 tanks, you get the Cross of Excellence. 72 tanks, you get the Star of Honor.
Right. Where does that line you up in the major 3 categories we set forth, though? Finisher, completer, achievement hunter.
I meant the picture of my Steam library that shows the account
right.
of all
Yeah.
my... Yeah, not
that one. Go ahead
Yeah.
and describe that one. It's a screen cap of your Steam.
It shows that I have earned 4,113 achievements. I have an average game completion rate, which means how many achievements per game average I do. And it's just 31%. I only have 7 perfect games where I've gotten all achievements.
Just to be clear, he's talking about Killing Floor 2, by the way.
No. Those are just my achievements I'm proud of.
That's for all Steam.
All Steam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've gotten 4,113 achievements. 7 games of my... And if you look on the right, it shows you I have 343 games. I've perfected 7 of their achievements.
So you've been an achievement hunter for those 7 games.
Yeah. Some of them were kind of like, oh, you finished the storyline? Yeah, that was the achievement. Good job, Phil. I think one of them was the Room VR. Well, I'm pretty damn sure. In which that one, just complete the main storyline and it's done.
Okay. I don't know where exactly that would put you in the 3 categories, but I'd say somewhere between completionist and achievement hunter.
And honestly, if I enjoy a game and I want to just dick around, I will look for the complexity and be like, okay, what do I have to do this hardcore mode? Like, some of those games I would dedicate more time to, but did I actively seek to do all achievements? No! I play Killing Floor 2 for my stream. People have seen me. They look at me and I'm like, you're trying to get all the achievements? Yeah, you're freaking insane. Why? What's wrong with playing the hardest difficulty on 30 maps? Just so you have reference, I can probably do one map on the hardest difficulty once every 3 days. It's a chore. You have to have a really good team, really good coordination, and be on top of it. The second hardest difficulty down, I still don't have all the achievements yet. It's a whew.
And how many hours have you dumped into that game? 383 or something?
Oh, I'll tell you how many achievements I've gotten down. Ready?
I asked hours played.
But I'll do a full representative. There is 280 achievements in Killing Floor 2.
That is a lot.
I've done 207 of them, so I've gotten 73% of it.
It's a good number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real nice number. I have put in, oh my god, 631 hours?
Okay, that's like twice what I thought. All right, well...
Worst part is, that's not my most played game. Or did it beat my most? It did beat my most played game, 7 Days to Die, which is at 425.
Rookie numbers. Absolute rookie numbers.
And if we go back to my original PlayStation 2 profile for Final Fantasy 12, Adam can attest that that was over 1,000 hours.
Still got you beat, bitch.
Still a lot of hours.
Jeffrey's like days,
hours,
weeks, months of your life.
Ooh.
Adam, how many hours are you put into Civ? Tell me. Tell me right now, damn. Actually, Total War. Not Civ. Your Total War you keep playing. I just said Civ because it's the first thing that came to my mind.
Crusader Kings? Which one was your most played? I forget.
My most played is Crusader Kings 2 at just under 1,200 hours. And then Europa Universalis, which is similar to CK2, is 800 hours. And then, give me a couple of seconds to... Okay, Steam Library.
I would like to state, Jeffrey, that about 20% of those hours was him leaving the game on, so his computer didn't fritz out. But still, even if we remove the 20%...
I mean, that'd still be over 800 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe 900.
He beat me, handedly.
Just a sec here. There we go. The Total Wars, I got some winners. I don't have numbers. Some of the early Total War games I played a lot. I've got like 400 in Attila, and almost 1,200 in Total War Rome 2 again. Shogun 2, 500-600. Some of these numbers aren't total because I played some of them pre-Steam. But yeah, that was. But, like, yeah, so, like, the games, when I'm really into them, I will dig in, and those games don't... It's kind of hard to explain, like, in many of those games, I have very rarely completed a game in the sense that I've played it out to the end. Because, well, A, there's a lot of achievements that you don't actually need to win, you just need to get a certain event to happen. And I do go after achievements in those games sometimes. So I'm really into them and I want to like, do something in them. But, yeah, like actually complete. Yeah, you get the idea. So yes, I don't know. For certain games, I will get real deep into the weeds, but I'm not really an achievement hunter normally. Once in a while, I'll be in the mood and I'll hunt some achievements in one of these games that I really like. But it's never because like I want to hunt achievements. It's because I want to play more of this game and I need some structure, some goal to work towards in it.
Sure.
So I'm not just flailing around.
Well, I think that's good. Like, we've basically categorized to what extent we are generally looking for completion, but
Wait,
obviously... Go ahead.
Jeff, let me... Big dick flex. Guess what my most played game is?
Warframe?
Warframe. How many hours do you think I have in it?
Oh, gosh.
1,500.
1,500.
Man, you guys are all so close. It's actually over 1,400 hours.
Man, I was close. Man, I'm good at guessing.
God.
I also have 87 of the achievements completed for that game.
87
There's
or
193.
87%.
87% out of 193.
Gosh, dude. That's many.
I'm going to say, though, my Killing Floor 2 achievements, no. Because I have 200 of those.
The closest I can hope to measure up to those achievement
scrolling down
levels
to
is a
Warframe.
couple platinum trophies in my PlayStation 4 profile.
I haven't played Warframe in a year, and the playtime for it is almost beating Killing Floor 2 at 650 for me.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit.
I mean, Warframe is one of those games where it's very easy to lose hours.
Yeah.
To be honest, though, it's a great... I wouldn't say it's a great grind game, because its grinding is out of control. But it is a great game if you'd want to just go, hey, I'm just going to kill some time. I have a basic goal.
So I just brought up my most played is Crusader Kings 2. It is just a touch under 1,200. And then Rome 2 is right under that. Then Europa Universalis. Then Factorio at almost 600 hours. Star Maid at 500. Attila at 400. Grim Dawn at 300. And then a smattering of others in the 200 range. Quite a few others.
Oh.
There's like 5 or 6 in there. I'm not going to read them all out.
All right. Well, that all being said, gentlemen, I think it's good that we've categorized ourselves into the categories of completion.
Yeah, essentially, when I'm into a game, planting the flags, calling the troops, going in for the long haul. Keep going,
Big
Jeff.
Dick Larry, here he comes.
Now, clearly, we don't strive to complete, in the sense that we've just described, every game we play. What makes the difference? When do we decide to try and dig our heels in and do 100% of everything that, well, either we complete the game or we achievement hunt the game? When do we feel the need to do that? So I'm gonna go ahead and give my answer just real quick. There are generally 2 or 3 factors that, keep me interested and make me try to 100% complete a game. It's, am I being rewarded for my efforts here? And am I still having fun? Those are my basic metrics of that determine whether or not I'm going to 100% complete a game. And obviously that's very dependent on the games that I'm playing. Say Mario 64, for example. I'm not being rewarded basically at all for 100% completing that game. The big reward there is you get Yoshi on top of the castle, and he gives you unlimited lives, and you get a fancy new triple jump.
To be honest, though, that is a good enough reward for you, Jeff.
I mean, I love seeing Yoshi, but
Shut up, man. What do you
that's
know?
Shit. What the fuck are you gonna do with those 99 lives now that you fucking finished the game?
Exactly.
Go and commit suicide in front of Bowser a lot.
For all intents,
give him psychological trauma that you'll never survive.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, for all intents and purposes, there is not much of a reward for 100% completing that game. But that is my favorite game of all time, and I have endless amount of fun just getting everything in it. Like, that makes me want to 100% complete it. There are other games that
Absolutely
reward you for your
smashing.
absolutely smashing. There are other games that really do reward your 100% completion. Games like the Legend of Zelda franchise or the Metroid franchise, where completing things makes you stronger. You get better equipment, more missile expansions, more health, more arrow expansions, etc. So there's rewards for that, and that drives me to try and 100% complete it as well. And another example that I like to think of when it comes to 100% completing a game, the games that make me want to 100% it, are a few of the Yoshi games. Yoshi's Island, if you get a high enough score in the 8 levels of a world, a 9th level opens up that provides you way more challenge than any of the other levels do. And that reward makes me want to go like, oh, I gotta get everything in the level so I can have a super fun challenge. Yoshi's Woolly World did this too. So that's another thing that makes me want to 100% complete a game. But I digress. I've talked enough. What do you guys think? Who wants to start?
I'm gonna hide over here. They'll never find me, boys.
What about you, Henry and Adam?
Well,
What is it that makes you want to complete a game?
I was gonna say it's interesting. I've noted before that I read a lot, and if you get me sucked into a story in a book, like I will sit up till 6 a.m. in bed reading to like I will not want to put this thing down for love nor money type deal. Like I will be sucked into the story and I want to finish it.
He missed
And
school
I want
a
to see
lot.
how the story ends. And so like I don't often consume video games that follow in this format, but once in a while I will. Rare while. And I'll get pulled in and I'll be like, I'm going to finish this because I want to see the end of the story. Like I get pulled into the story, which can happen. But most of the games I play don't have stories quite so specifically. And as long as I'm having like fun with the game, like I am enjoying the mental exercise the game presents to me, that's not too, I don't know how, that's not too complicated, but like, as long as I'm enjoying the game, in essence, as long as I'm having fun doing it, I'll like, it's sometimes with achievement huntings and things like that, it's like you get into this game and it's this experience and you're with these you're playing these characters, but you don't want it to end. Like you're caught in, it's like when your favorite series on TV finally ends and you're really kind of sad because it's ended. Even if it ends on a happy note, you're like, now there's no more of this series. It's over. And you're sad. And so sometimes that, like, because you enjoyed the story so much, you're like, well, I don't want this to end, so I'm going to start going after achievement hunting. You're going to stay in this world, as it were. Sometimes that can really pull you in. For me, it's mostly if I'm like enjoying this game or like if I'm enjoying like a playthrough, I'll just keep grinding on the playthrough. But if I'm enjoying the game too, sometimes I'll go after achievements. Like, well, I'm this playthrough is getting really bogged down and like I'm starting to like lose steam on it. Well, let's switch and do a fresh playthrough, going after some little achievement to like as a little palate cleanser before I get back to the
quest
marathon.
Okay. What about you, Henry? What makes you want to get all the achievements in the game?
Nothing.
Well, there's got to be something that's driving you for that. It might not come from the game itself.
Suffering of 1,000
No, I don't know. Typically, whenever I want to like 100% a game, I enjoy the gameplay, mechanics, story, shit like that, because it's actually enjoyable. And it's like, all right, what else? Because like once when you complete the story, it's like, like Adam said, once when you finish like the main story or like a plot or a show or something, then it's over, and then you're just like, oh, well, now what do I do? What do I have to do? And it's like, well, the developers wanted you to be able to try out all these different extra things in the game that they put in for you to be able to experience and enjoy. But so, like, sometimes it's like, if the story's like, I'm super in depth for it, fuck everything else. I'm going to just beeline through this story because I want to know what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Like, the most recent time was Kingdom Hearts 3 when that came out last year.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Or earlier this... No, it was last year.
No,
yeah.
Henry
actually,
had to get out his
2019.
pinboard with in his red and blue string and figure out what the hell was happening there.
Yeah,
That
well,
game
dude, it's
came
been
out
like...
in 2019.
It's like 10 years, dude.
Oh my
Also,
gosh.
Adam, you have to remember, between the first game and the second game, there was what, Henry? 4 games? One describing what happened to Sora, one describing what happened to Roxas, one describing the interaction between the two, one describing what happened after the first game that led to the first part of the second game, in which Sora wakes up from the judo mech pod and goes, "Oh, what am I doing
if
here?"
If you want me to list off all the titles and everything, I can do that.
I think we need a whole podcast for that.
Realistically,
Pretty
yeah.
much, yeah.
But there's like there's like 1, 2 Chain of Memories,
Yeah.
Birth by Sleep,
That was in
358 over
between
2
1 and 2.
days.
Yep, also in between 1 and 2.
Recoded, Dream
Also
Drop
in between
Distance,
1 but 2.
3.
Also between 1 and 2.
There's the mobile game.
Yeah, I was gonna
Also
say
they had
between
come
1
out.
and fucking 2. Mind you,
So there's 9 games that I can think of right now.
Okay, I want
And
to
the
point.
most
I want to.
recent release is Kingdom Hearts 3.
I want. I do want to point out that with Kingdom Hearts, one thing I want to say is yes, you want to know what happens with the story, but I feel like that one, like they made Kingdom Hearts 1. And no one told the story writers that this was going to be a series. This was like, because they didn't call it Kingdom Hearts 1, they called it Kingdom Hearts. And it was like this thing, and it was this really fun game. And like, then they're
Final
like,
Fantasy
and then
1.
Disney turns around, the giant, money fueled titan that is Disney turns around and is like, feed me more. And so they're like, we have to pad out the story, guys. And they're like, time people start losing forget their memories. We need an alternate dimension and time loop going back and forth. We gotta break out the good old plot devices here to try and take a story that was relatively self-contained and then make it into a running series. And so it got very very complicated. Not that the story wasn't quite good at parts. It just that
If you
there's
could wrap
that
your mind around it.
sometimes series that go on for a lot of seasons get towards their last season and they're and the writers are you could just tell the writers they just don't have anything else. They're they have had these characters doing things for so long that they're just running out of material for them to do. It's like the classic soap opera thing. This is where you start killing people off and introducing long lost brothers that you thought were dead. You gotta shake it up and get some more material in here because you're running out of
oh my God,
when you stretch the poor story for longer than it was intended to stretch. But that's Kingdom Hearts. That's about Kingdom Hearts, that whole thing. But I agree with Henry. I really enjoy Kingdom Hearts. So
you enjoy watching
I knock on the writers a little
me.
bit because sometimes it gets excuse me for a second while I get out my enormous
portfolio. My murder
corkboard with
mystery
all the
portfolio.
strings and pictures and
It's
something
that
happens
meme picture. I'm trying to explain to you something.
Yeah. No, it's something happens in game, they mention a name, this person needs help or something, pause, you turn, and the whole wall behind you is taken up by a corkboard with the pictures pinned in and the little strings connecting them all, and you're and then you pull up you have a little ring binder at the bottom, you open it up, you find the name, go to quadrant 2, 3, and oh yeah, that person's related to this, and, okay, then you turn and unpause the game and get back to what's happening, levels of, not that the story was bad, it was complicated,
Convoluted even.
Oh, that's what I thought. Starbomb. Does everyone remember Starbomb?
Yep.
Does everyone remember the song?
The story of Kingdom Hearts or the story of Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. It's Metal Gear Solid.
Hell yeah.
At the end of Metal Gear Solid,
Hey guys, I'm Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Hearts. No! Just smacks him.
Shout out to Starbomb.
Oh,
but no,
But,
like, but yeah, to go back to Henry. He had a really good
quick
point.
little
He was
fun
making.
thing. Kingdom Hearts, the first one. Disney didn't want. Originally, they wanted Mickey Mouse to be the main character of the game, but Disney said no because they thought the game was going to be a flop. So that's why they ended up making Sora's colors very similar to the Mickey Mouse original outfit, and why Disney only wanted Mickey to be in there for a very short amount of time, which is only at the very end of the game, like his physical character. But cool thing that they did is, like, originally when the games came out for like PS2, there weren't any trophy system or achievement system or anything like that. So when you completed the main story, you basically would like go and do the collectibles and stuff, and it's just like, okay, whatever, this is just me wanting to 100% it in that sense. Whereas when they re-released them with like the HD packs and everything, they had like a trophy system, achievement system added into it, so that way it became more of an achievement 100% instead of just like a collectible 100% sense.
100%
So it added
completion versus
a little bit
achievement
more
hunting.
of like, yeah, it added a little bit more like, okay,
bit of
so
flavor.
what things did they put in that they want me to do? Where when they also did the HDs, they also added more content than they did with the original American release of the game for like the PS2 platform.
Oh, good. Throw in some
So
extra
basically, it was like
complicating stuff in
DLC
there.
added into it, which is really nice. It's awesome.
Yeah, especially if you're like super ensconced into that series, that can definitely be seen as a plus. For me, like, it just makes it harder for me to want to get into the series.
I mean, it's
I
not
get
that
it.
bad. Once you start the roller coaster, you just have to embrace it, Jeff.
Let
Don't get
me-
into it unless you are ready.
Yeah,
Don't
so-
worry about
so
that
to-
straight
to-
jacket. It's okay.
to go with that whole thing, there's so I am not afraid when it comes to reading. I am not afraid of long series. Like, sign me up, sit me
Not
down,
af-
buckle
not
me in.
afraid.
I'll keep my hands and feet inside the ride. Let's go.
And then there's me, who's
Well,
definitely
yes,
afraid.
let's
partially
that's a whole
allergic.
discussion. But the point is, like, I have this one series where, like, I have one series that is just so long. It's like 13, 14 books, and these are huge 600 plus page monsters. I have them hardback, so it's like a tower. It's like 3 foot tall tower of books. And I have last year, about a year ago, it took me a month. I reread the whole series from beginning to end.
Gosh.
I love this series.
A month.
It's off Armageddon Reef by the Armageddon Reef series by David Wilbur. But besides that's the
read
point. But at the
10,000
same
pages
time, I have another series
in a
that I've been reading for not as long as that one, where I started at like book 6. Like, there were 6 books. I read them. They were good. And I just finished reading book 20 a couple weeks ago.
They were good.
And I look back at that series and I'm like, and I thought, do I want to read this whole series again? Thought back, I'm like, hell no. Like that, so I can understand your perspective there, where sometimes like if you start at the beginning and they like give it to you in little installments and you're invested, like, you don't notice quite how complex it's getting because you're in the weeds, as it were. Like, you're already like tracking all these things, but then like someone new coming into the series like looks at the 3 foot tower of books and is like, like,
That's where I'm at, except with Kingdom Hearts, throw in the fact that Kingdom Hearts 1 isn't the beginning of the timeline. Like,
yeah, no.
you've got
Is it?
prequels, you've got sequels,
Wait,
you've
there's
got...
Is there a prequel to Kingdom Hearts 1?
Yeah, Birth by Sleep.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget the mobile
Really?
games
I
that
need to
started
play
it
that.
Birth
all
by
off.
Sleep happens before 1.
Oh, that's
Didn't the mobile
cool.
games also happen way before the first ones took place?
Yes, Union Cross.
See, that's what I'm
Yep.
talking about.
I
Now-
didn't know
now
that.
to-
I
to-
did not know
to,
that.
to go back onto like the original topic before I forget my train of thought.
Yes, get back to the original topic. We went way
for-
off the rails here.
For 100% achieving, it depends on what the achievements are sometimes. Like, if there's some stupid bullshit, I'm going to be discouraged for wanting to do them. Because some games have it where they have like different difficulty settings and you have to complete the game on that difficulty. And sometimes, like for older games, they have it where if you complete it at like the hardest difficulty, it doesn't count for any of the other ones. So it's literally you just replaying through the same story, just easier and easier and easier to get it. And it's just like, this is stupid. I don't understand why this works this way.
I can't think of any specific examples.
Remember Ratchet and Clank?
Is that is that an example?
Well, when you go back through, they give you the multiplier. The bolt multiplier.
It makes it easier though.
Yeah. But then, like the first time through, you go through and you try not to get hit because you want your multiplier as high as possible. But your third time through or your fourth time through, it's just like, why am I here?
We all know why you're there. Or achievements where you got to like play perfectly, or have a chance of missing like a once in a storyline opportunity to hit this moment. Like,
I did that.
Talk to so and so at this, like every chance you can. Or talk to so and so, or get the side quest from so and so, and complete it before you complete the main storyline. And you're just like, fuck, I missed it. Now I got to go all the way back to the beginning. This is bullshit.
I have one for you. So in EU4, there are a couple of achievements that you get for getting specific historical events to trigger. And certain specific, and there are some events that can trigger, you get achievements for, there are some events that aren't actually historical but can trigger anyway, that can happen. But like, you can't force them to happen. You can only make them more likely, and some of them are time window locked. So like, you have like, these conditions must be present, and then you cross your fingers, and if you have all these conditions present, it's the years between date A and B, so it's in like this 10 or 20 year period, and these conditions are present, you might get this event to trigger it. It might happen. But like, you can't just force it to happen. So sometimes you have to do it in Iron Man mode, which means no save. So you can't just go back to the beginning of the 10-year period, just keep playing it until the random event happens. Like, you're doing the exact same thing every time. You're just crossing your fingers and hope that it happens. And if it's like the first 10 years of the game, you're like, oh, that's not too bad. I can just restart a new game. But in Iron Man, when you can't have saves unless you cheat and make saves that aren't like, don't actually save in the game, you copy files and do shady stuff behind the screens to like create fakes to like.
So you're cheating, huh?
Yeah. So unless you cheat, like you end up having to go back.
Yes, thank you for
like
noticing.
It's like, we want this event to happen here, but like to set it up to happen, you're going to have to start 50 years ago. And so those are the most frustrating achievements where it's like, I've done everything in my power to make this happen, but RNGesus just pooped on me today. Like, those type of achievements can
those
be
kinds of achievements are kind of what keep me from being an achievement hunter. Like, some of the examples I'm thinking of are specifically Hollow Knight and Ori and the Blind Forest. Both of those games have a hardcore mode. One of them is for Hollow Knight, it's Steel Soul mode. And I think for
Steel Soul, that's
Steel
a good
Soul
name.
mode. Yeah,
that's actually a good name.
Great name. But I don't want to do it because I can spend 40 hours in that game, and if I die once, it's over. And that game is pretty hard.
Can confirm, pretty tough game.
Yeah,
very fun game though.
Oh, I love the game to death, but I can't do the Steel Soul mode. I just can't. And Ori and the Blind Forest is pretty much the same thing. I don't remember what the name was for that one. But I think like the pinnacle example of that kind of mode I hate is Minecraft's hardcore mode.
Oh
yeah, Jeff, murderer.
At one point, I remember we were trying to record a hardcore series of Minecraft, and we just determined, no, this isn't worth it because one of us dies, it's all over. And like, that's kind of the point of the series, but we determined this is stupid. But those are the sorts of achievements that keep me from one of the sorts of achievements that keep me from being an achievement hunter.
Like, now I said that about EU4. Understand it is still like my third most played game of all in Steam. So like, I still love the game. There are just one or two achievements that are just really obnoxious. And having said that, I have got them. Not necessarily. I think I
Through
got most
cheating.
of the ones that
What?
there's no. Alright. So one, I will admit there was one that I cheated on because
Take it away. You heard it here, Steam. Take his achievement away.
I had to fucking reload. I basically pulled a save. Like, I copied the save file and then put it back in to the folder to essentially reload an old save because I was not going to spend, like, I had spent like 2 days getting everything set up to go after this achievement, and it just did not trigger for me during the time frame. I was just like, gosh dang it. It was
Achievements that require RNG are another slog.
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't mind if it's like, you know, like a relatively narrow, like, try and trigger, and you just kind of like speed through. Oh, it triggered. Okay, yeah, okay, we're going. Like, if I don't have to do it too many times. But if it's like, I just wasted 2 days of my life setting up for this and it didn't trigger, and it's just like, game. Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, so that's usually the requirements for me wanting to achievement complete games. Is how bullshit are the achievements 90% of the time, and the other 10% is I just really like the game, so fuck it, I'll do whatever.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, I think it's your turn.
How do you know that?
I don't know.
Process
I'm
of
the host.
elimination.
I get to decide.
Oh shit, he's pulling rank on us, boys.
Full and right, man.
Everybody get your gun out!
Viva la revolution!
Ah!
Not over Discord, you ain't. All right, Dan.
Not over Discord.
What makes you want to 100% complete a game to
I
the
know if I
extent
hang
that
up
you
my
do?
headset now, I can be up there by the end of the episode to crack you over the head.
Yeah, solid point.
You won't be able to find me, though.
I guarantee I can find you, Daniel. I have
No
to
shit.
listen for the hum of the enormous ass tower.
Excuse me, my tower's amazing. So,
It's subpar.
oh, you're right, though.
I think my laptop has just as good as specs,
Again,
Not
You're
to
probably
Daniel's
right, though.
tower.
doesn't it? I thought it was whatever. This is off topic.
We're
Dan,
getting way off topic. Daniel, go.
Jeff's just insulting me. You're a bitch. Oh, wow. Wait. Are we generalized audiences or 18 plus? Wait.
I mean, whatever you want, dude. I don't care.
I mean, I care. This is a podcast.
Why do you 100% complete games, Dan?
Here's the thing. You say, why do I want to 100% complete a game? Most of the time, the game will naturally have an incentive involved in it. For example, Killing Floor 2, a lot of these achievements are just, hey, can you actually beat this map at a higher difficulty? All right, let me give it a shot. I do it, and, I sort of have this, like, claim to fame where I can go, be nice to me. I played all these maps. You can check my profile. And some of these achievements give me like decent street cred among the PvE community. Because what's hilarious is I can actually say, it's right here next to me, I did the Storm King challenge of Fortnite. Adam understands how fucking tedious that challenge was. To anyone else that goes, what the hell is that achievement? The Storm King challenge, you had to beat the third area of the game because they just came out with the storyline of it, and they were so happy about their PvE. I miss those days. And they wanted people to, go and try to beat the Storm King. Jesus Christ, I still hate this. So, I shit you not, before the year was over, I had to beat the third chapter. How hard is this? Oh, I could get into a full podcast. I gotta control myself. So I basically put in about 300 hours in 2 weeks on Fortnite I finished that achievement 2 days before you couldn't achieve it anymore. And they gave you a pin to symbolize that you did it. But, oh my god, I was so burnt out after that.
Because that 300 hours after 2 weeks, that's insane.
Weeks. Just to fucking do it. It was Christmas vacation. I had nothing better to do with my life. And I was like, you know what? Breaks chair.
That would mean that in those 2 weeks you had a grand total of 36 hours that you weren't playing the game.
Yep, that's 21 and a half hours a day.
Okay, maybe I did 200 hours.
I was going to say.
Wait a second. wait a second.
I was like checking the math on that. I got like it's a little late, so I'm like, let me just double check that math there before I say something.
Goes back to Daniel's. That goes back to Daniel's. I wake up, I eat breakfast, I play 548 hours of Fortnite, I go to sleep.
I swear though, that's how this generation is. They just play Fortnite and then they play Fortnite and then they think of elaborate schemes to steal their mom's credit card, as we've discussed in another video.
The last one, in fact.
Yeah. Check it out. It's on our podcast stream.
Okay. Let's get this.
Why do I achievement stream? Usually is for benefit, or the achievements in general that I'm kind of proud of are the ones that simply state, "Hey, you beat the game. Congratulations." And some of those I'm like, wow, I'm really happy about this. Other achievements where I have to go out of my way, I have gone towards them if I, like Henry, I enjoy the hell out of the game and I want to get a little more extra playtime out of it. But one of the games I also have a lot of it, I put 340 hours into it, holy shit, is Risk of Rain 2. I actually streamed this one on my channel a little while.
You had some funny clips from that series. I enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I should go back into it because I have 32 achievements not done for it yet. In fact, I haven't actually beat Risk of Rain 2. I haven't actually beat the game. But I've gotten... Yes, they just came out with the ending. Which the ending you have to beat the King of Oblivion, which is miserable as hell. You basically have to beat a boss on the hardest difficulty of the game. And since you can't loop to get infinite items, once you get to the final boss, you don't get any more items. So you're stuck with this tiny pool of, we might have enough. We might die. I can't even beat the boss on the easiest difficulty. Just to give people reference. Because yes, I am a noob. But that game, every time you complete an achievement, this was before they had Steam achievements like officially, but in the game, every time you beat an achievement, it would unlock an item. So you got more and more things to play with the more achievements you did. Kind of like Binding of Isaac, where every time you did an achievement, you got a thingy for it. Actually, that's a good question. How many achievements did I get in Binding of Isaac Rebirth? Oh, hey Jeff, I got 130 achievements in Binding of Isaac.
Out of how many?
403. Every achievement is an item in Binding of Isaac. You want to know why people play Binding of Isaac? That's why. Because once you get deep into that game... But
it's a lot of achievements.
But mind you, every achievement is an item in Binding of Isaac. Except I think 10 of them. So that's like 390 different ways your game will get augmented in a run.
So like a pass on that.
One thing that kind of sucks though is I hate when games get updated that aren't completed and you like 100% them or even DLC and they toss it in and then also
I do want to talk about this, Henry.
Oh man.
So okay,
it feels like they're moving the goalposts on you.
Yeah, I have one specific example of this that I want to talk about, and I don't think any of you guys have played this one, but it was Horizon Zero Dawn.
No,
that was you.
I already feel burned for buying that game when it first came out. Quick aside. That game.
Quick aside!
We got him on a tangent, boys.
Yeah, quick aside. That game was a $60 game when it first came out. I bought it through Amazon pre-ordered.
For $3,000.
And that was when they were doing their 20% discount for pre-orders. So I got it for $48. And I thought, all right, got it. Great. 1 year later, it is a PlayStation Select. $20. And it came out with DLC. Guess what that $20 version of the game has?
The DLC.
The DLC. Ooh. So I have the base game. I spent $48 on it. I do not have the DLC. And this Black Friday, you can buy the complete edition of Horizon Zero Dawn with the Frozen Wilds DLC for $10. That's how much the DLC costs. That is how much the DLC costs. Henry, if you haven't played that game yet and you don't have it,
I have not. I don't own it.
I highly recommend you purchase that game this Black Friday.
See, like, I wouldn't mind getting it for my PS4, but if there's one thing I hate about the PS4, I don't know how the Xbox One is, but even if you don't have a digital copy of the game, it still installs it on your fucking console.
The Xbox One does that too.
Don't have fucking hard drive space. I have to delete other games to play new games. It's so stupid.
Best Buy selling a 14 terabyte external hard drive.
No. First of all, fuck external hard drives for being used for for anything other than just like data backup.
Storage.
Yeah, bulk storage.
It like if you're using it as an actual hard drive, fuck you. That's not what those things are for. They're not made for that. That's ridiculous.
No.
I
might
storage
move.
junkie.
I have a hard drive, a small one, where like I have different series of movies and stuff, and I'm watching this one, and then I'll put it back on the hard drive, and then take out another one from the hard drive.
See, that's fair. That's reasonable, but you're not constantly using.
No, you don't play out of the hard drive. You need to SATA port if you want to play out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But Jeff, they actually did. They released Horizon Zero Dawn on Steam.
Yes, they did.
So maybe I should.
It's still $60 though.
That's fair, but eventually it's going to go on sale for either the winter or summer sales, and it'll probably be down to like $20.
Yeah, and you might want to wait till then anyway, because I heard that game isn't 100% optimized.
No, that's fine. I'm in no rush because even if I was, I probably would have already bought it for PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could wait, and more than likely Epic Games at some point will end up getting it on there for either free or something else, because you have like the 2 free games every single week with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So and the
that's always
collection keeps going. Actually, that reminds me, I need to grab another free game.
But anyway, back to the point that you brought up, actually. When you get all the achievements in a game, I was going somewhere with this. That that game, I 100% completed it. I got the Platinum Trophy for Horizon Zero Dawn. And I go there, I go to my trophies list. I've got the Platinum Trophy for it. I've got 70% of the achievements. Because the DLC came out. Is that frustrating for you guys? Like, have you ever had that happen?
I don't think...
For me, yeah. that's what I go for. I want 100% completion, goddammit.
Yeah, like I don't normally take games up to 100%. Most of my games that would take so much time to do. I've gotten close on some of them, but anyway, wow, my tangenting. But
you talk about books one more goddamn time, boy.
No, not books. I was just gonna say my games. Yeah, that's happened to me, but because I'm not at 100%, I don't. It doesn't seem to affect me, but I can see how that would really grate on your OCD.
Oh, it does. There are multiple games that this happened for me on the PS4. Let's see. I think Shantae, Half Genie Hero. I got like 93% of the achievements, 96% of the achievements. I didn't quite Platinum Trophy it, but now if I want to Platinum Trophy it, I'm still only going to have like 70% of the achievements because the DLC came out. Horizon Zero Dawn, I just mentioned that, 70% with the Platinum Trophy. Crash Bandicoot, kind of. Like it came out with that ultra hard level.
Yeah.
What other games have I 100% completed? Gravity Rush remastered on the PS4. That didn't have any additional DLC, so I do have 100% on that one. Ratchet and Clank I have 100% on. But those games that you 100% it and then the update or the DLC comes out, it's like you still have your Platinum Trophy, but not 100% completion.
Oh, I got a winner for you. For this one.
Oh, don't forget about. Oh,
so
okay.
In Crusader Kings 2, to get achievements, you have to be playing in Iron Man mode, like I said before. And there are certain restrictions on what you can play for Iron Man mode. But they did this huge there's a huge update to the game. It came out with DLC, but it overhauled the entire game for everyone, did a bunch of improvements and everything. And one of these things is they added a mechanic called vassal limit. And basically it just means that you can't have like a bunch of little vassals that are easy to control. You have to have you can only have a few vassals. So if you get a really big, you have to have a big vassals that if they rebel or like an entire kingdom rebelling, so it becomes a huge issue, which makes the game much, much harder to build a huge empire. There is an achievement for restoring the old borders of the Roman Empire refounding the Roman Empire and then restoring its old borders. So if you did it pre that update, it wasn't that bad. You could essentially just take the territory and rule it with counts or dukes, and it was absolutely fine. Like, there was very little penalty for having like 1,000 vassals and you control the territory. After it became almost impossible to do because okay, Northern Europe, you are now one vassal. Please do not rebel. You see what I'm literally, if you had the achievement, you were golden. They did add some new ones too, but if you hadn't got that achievement, or God forbid, we're in the middle of working towards that achievement when that update came out, all of a sudden it became way harder. They changed the game and it made certain achievements much, much harder to get.
Sure.
So that's an interesting point there. It's not that there are more achievements, it's that you better have had them beforehand.
I think Shovel Knight did this once too. I 100% completed Shovel Knight and got all the achievements on my 3DS, but I couldn't do it on my PS4 because they changed it a little bit. It was, you have to beat the game within an hour and a half without dying. But you could, on the 3DS, you could do it by quitting out of the game and not saving it right before you, or right after you die, and then reload it. You could still get it that way. But the PS4 is we record exactly when you die. We save it there. You can't cheat it like that. So, yeah.
That's how you know it's legit.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe I did it? I don't remember.
Dirty bunch of cheaters.
But yeah, generally...
Oh, please, Henry. You're like a game exploit handbook on legs.
Henry, didn't you
can't prove
once...
any of this.
Henry, didn't you once get
exploited us.
Banned or reported by someone who thought you were cheating because your gamer score was so high?
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Oh, yeah, it did.
So two things. First, to answer your question, yes, somebody did report me from a multiplayer game because he said it was hacking my account because my gamer score was too high on the Xbox 360 account. Hilarious. I laughed my ass off on that one.
So funny.
And two, I fucking hate multiplayer game achievements.
Yes.
That shit is awful.
Yes.
If your
do you wanna
achievement
help
is
me do
dependent
this?
on your teammate not jacking off in the corner,
It's not even that. It's a risk because if you come late to the party for that game, you are very likely to never get that achievement. Because if I were to hop on I think Assassin's Creed Revelations or some shit had multiplayer right now on the 360, I'm pretty sure that game's dead, and trying to be able to complete those achievements would be nearly impossible.
I had that.
That's the thing.
I had that.
It is a limited time window of being able to complete that game. Then
you
I
have
had
to
that exact same thing for the
hi,
Metroid
good
Prime.
old friends, old buddy, your old pal. Here's a copy of Assassin's Creed Revelations. Sit down, help me get this fucking achievement.
I had that same exact problem for Metroid Prime Trilogy Collection. I have it on my Wii U, but the multiplayer was already dead when that game hit the Wii U, and the Wii U does not any longer support online play, I don't think. So, you can't get that achievement now. Those achievements, that's such a pain. Alright, yeah, but those achievements, those darned achievements, I think that's most of the reason why I'm not an achievement hunter. I don't enjoy this.
Down achievements.
But wrapping it all around back to the main point, when do we 100% complete a video game? We've covered this topic pretty well in depth, but let's put a nice bow on it. For each of you guys, which games would you say are your favorite to 100% complete? like specific games, game series, whatever you want, or even complete genres. Like, which genres would you say lend themselves to? Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I was started to talk, and then Jeff's like, "There's more." I'm like, "Oh,
But
shit.
wait, there's more."
Quiet. Because I was about to say, if anyone's watched my on this podcast, has watched my stream, I do quite a bit of Killing Floor 2 and The Long Dark, which both of them, if you've read their achievements, are just like, "Are you freaking insane?" I'm like, "Yes, that's the whole point of this stream." And because the achievements are like Killing Floor 2. There's an achievement for every single map, every single game mode, and beat it on the highest possible difficulty. There's an achievement for how far leveled every single one of your classes are. Not if you prestiged them. If you prestiged them, no one cares. But the base classes, the ones that are the hardest to level up, because once you prestige, you get a 50% XP bonus. But the original OGs, you have to level all of them to max, and you get an achievement for every 5-level increment up to level 25. And I would state this. In my 600? Was it the 600-hour game? Double checking. Yeah, 630 hours. I don't have all my classes to 25. Hell, I don't have all the classes to level 20. I think one of the classes is level 10. No, 2 of the classes are level 10 because I downright hate them. And the rest are like almost there. I think I've got like 4 out of 7 classes that are actually maxed. So the achievements do give me a long time goal, and those are the ones I enjoy and strive to go towards. The Long Dark is another one. I'm really proud of the achievements because there's an achievement which how do I describe this? Every minute is a second. Every minute is an hour. So the time system in that game, a 24-hour period, is about 24 minutes, I'm going to say. That's, I think, a good rough estimate. 7 days to die, it's whatever someone sets it. Usually they set hour days. So, like, for 45 minutes, it's daytime. For 15 minutes, it's zombies trying to chew off biggest parts. But in The Long Dark, is it in my MVP folder? It's not. I need to put it in there. So I don't have to scroll through all these games. Actually, I have a search bar. There it is, The Long Dark, not Lobotomy Corporation. Thank you. In The Long Dark, yeah, I have an achievement here that's called Ready for When the SHTF, which Adam knows that acronym. To get that achievement, survive 50 days in a single survival mode game. 50. And in The Long Dark, there are achievements for, and I shit you not, 100 and 500 days. Also, here's a
Wait,
fun
how long
achievement.
is that in real time?
Well, each minute, each minute's a second. Seconds.
You mean each second is a minute, each minute is an hour.
Hour. Yep. So
Each
24
hour
minutes.
is a day. Wait, no, hang on.
No,
an
that
hour would
wouldn't
be
be
60 hours.
24 minutes is a day.
Yeah, 24 minutes would be a day, so roughly
that's
three.
a good rough estimate.
Roughly,
So 24 times 500
500. I'm pretty sure
is
the day is
12,000
minutes, right?
minutes.
Which
and
is-
so then we divide
Isn't that like
that by
two?
60.
Isn't that
that'd be
200 hours?
200 hours.
How could you do that?
Mind you,
Divide that by 24, and that's 8.333, 8 1/3 days.
Of just straight playing that game? How?
Yeah. Mind you, that's one level. I mean, you could save and come back to it. But mind you, in this game, resources are not renewable. If you go fishing and your hook breaks, go and find some more metal somewhere to make another hook to go back to your fishing spot. Oh, I scared a predator away with this flare. Okay, I have to go find another flare to protect myself or I'm shit out of luck. Oh, I'm injured? Let me use this Band-Aid. Okay, let me go find or make another Band-Aid because I used it. And you have to survive 500 days on limited resources, essentially.
That sounds crazy to me. I would never.
I've done 50. And I'll tell you one thing. I got to 50 because on day 40, I slept for 10 days in that game to speed it along because I was losing my mind. And so what did the developers do? Oh, you can't do stupid shit like that. We added a new effect, cabin fever. I hate you, Dev. What's cabin fever do? Oh, if you're inside for a multitude of days indoors, well, we're just going to apply a debuff that doubles the consumption of all resources.
That doesn't make much realistic sense. Like, being a hermit, I can kind of attest to that.
I'm pretty sure there's another effect, but I'm actually going to look. How long is a day? Just to make sure, because it might not be 24 minutes. But then again,
okay, we're getting a little off the rails here.
So,
right. But those are the games which their achievements. I enjoy playing the game, and the achievements are a motivator for where to go in the game, and sort of what to try, and new facets and new ideas. So some achievements are more of record keeping to display how well I have played the game and how well I've done, and others are to motivate me to strive further in the game, just like the early patch system that Activision had. All right, I'd like to pass the mic over to either Henry or Adam. I don't know where to. I'm just going to throw the mic in the air and someone grabs it.
So why don't you restate the original question that we got somewhat
the original
drifted.
question is, what games do you see as lending themselves best to completion for you? So while you're pondering, Adam, Henry, do you have an answer?
I'd like to buy a vowel, please.
So is that you want me to answer and have you think about it for a minute?
No, I got it.
Okay.
I definitely like the Crash trilogy and the Spyro trilogy. Those are two really good achievement completionist ones. Because the first Crash game is probably the hardest of the three.
I remember playing that one with you.
At least in my opinion, I think that's definitely the hardest. And then like 2 and 3 like make it a little bit easier, so it's easier to get the 100%. Whereas Spyro does like the opposite in a sense, where the first one's probably the easiest in my opinion. Then 2 and 3 kind of ramp it up a bit more since they add new characters and different powers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So those ones are fun for at least like my version of achievement completion. And then there's also like BioShock is probably my other one. Like
I was
the entire
say
franchise.
That. I was just thinking that.
The whole franchise, the story's awesome. The collectibles are very easy to do, and it's just a matter of spending the time in the game. And you can like I don't think you could get 100% on one playthrough just because of I think the difficulty thing again might be one of those types of achievements, but like besides that, everything else in that game, you could pretty much like 100% the game, like full playthrough if you literally look and do everything in it. So it's good story. You're going to enjoy it as long as you're into like the creepy, weird kind of shit. But achievement wise, it's definitely doable also.
Mm-hmm. Any others? I know you're like your grindy games.
I do.
Monster Hunter.
So a cool. No, I hate the achievements in that one. That one's just miserable. That's very RNG dependent on the maximum
Collectathon?
king queen sizes for all the creatures, as well as the smaller collectible bullshit creatures. So
I forgot
fuck that
was a thing.
What about Diablo?
Diablo.
Diablo doesn't have achievements.
You could, but it's not one that I would probably pick. One I would pick would be like Nier Automata.
Ooh.
Because the story's good, gameplay's really fun, and I ran into the issue of these rare enemies that only spawn once in the game, and once when you kill them, you have to collect their parts. And there's a glitch where it may not drop the part in order to form weapons. But the redeeming quality is, at the very end, you could talk to someone, spend the in-game currency talking to someone, and they'll unlock the achievement for you.
Nice.
So
What?
if it fucks you that way, at least it gives you the opportunity to get that 100% completion then.
Man, I want to play that game. I still haven't gotten around to trying it.
It's so good.
Yeah, I
You
want
like
to try it.
anime? You like mecha women?
Oh, Jeff, did you see? Let me look at my wish list real quick. They're doing a HD remake for one of the games in the franchise for that.
What, Nier Automata?
Near Replicant.
So how far back does that franchise go?
I think like maybe 2 or 3 games, but they're not called like Near or anything like that. I think they're other games that are in that universe.
So kind of like
It's
a
like-
Tales kind of situation, like Tales of Vesperia or Tales of whatever you use it.
Kind of, I suppose.
Tales of Berserkia.
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd have to look more
Ugh.
into like the story and the lore and everything, but it's interesting. But Near Replicant is a game that's supposed to come out next year that is made by the same company and everything. So that's another one that's going to be coming up that's just like it. And from it looks like it's supposed to be like an HD remake of like a previous game of the franchise.
Man, that's exciting. I saw you play that game once, and it looked like so much fun.
Oh, it's so good. The combat's fluent, the story's really good, and there's nothing in it that makes it like disgustingly hard. Even the boss fights are like epic. Because normally you rage about some boss fights, but like that one was just like, these are all good. These are all fun. These are all enjoyable kinds of things. And the soundtrack just makes it even more epic to enjoy. It's just good. Great game.
Nice. Nice.
Let me look at my completed list because I have a separate tab.
Well, can I jump in one while you
by all
peruse?
means.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, actually, Factorio is one where I am very close to getting all of the achievements in it. I may never get There Is No Spoon. That requires me to beat the game in 8 hours.
There is no spoon. I have a silverware drawer that would beg to differ.
Well, it's you literally beat the game. It's beat the game in 8 hours.
Oh gosh.
It's
I
like
love
8 hours,
sounds
and
nuts.
that is the type.
I
That is
love
the
how
game
that's a
where like
speed run.
my normal playthroughs take like 50 hours or
I would like
100
this-
hours for me to win. Like you have to like. You're gonna have to like set the game to a pretty damn kitty difficulty. Not because you're gonna have to go fast. Like it's like if this is not winning me the game, then you can just chuck it. Just like sit there throwing things out the back, trying to lose weight, like, trying to figure out what you can cut from your normal plans to like race to an 8-hour finish. I'm like I literally had to look up how long it takes to craft the parts involved because I'm like, it can't possibly be 8 hours. You see, people have done it. I'm like, the 15-hour achievement I thought was like, oh my gosh, maybe it's doable, but that seems really, really hard. And then I saw that there's another one, There Is No Spoon for 8 hours. And I'm like, the spoon. Like, I was like, that was insane. But, so I might never 100% it. I don't know. Maybe I have someday, if I was feeling real insane, I'd take a crack at that. But, it was, that's the type of game where I would like grind for the 100% completion on it.
Nice.
Okay, so can I interject something?
Sure.
Go right ahead.
Because so that 500 the long dark achievement, I just did a quick recap because I was like, wait, no, I feel like the game lasts longer. At least the days feel longer. It's actually a dilation of 15, not 60.
Wait. Hang on. So, what?
Adam, tell me you understand what I just said.
So 1 minute is 15 minutes.
So
in
you're
game.
saying it would actually take 4 times as long? It would
Yes.
take like 25 days of like real time to get a 500-day run?
That's disgusting.
And there's
25 and third days? Yeah, 25 and third days.
That's
And-
nuts. And yeah, your math
800
is
hours?
exactly right, Adam.
So there's achievements here. If
your
you
math
think
is
that,
exactly right.
yep. If you think that achievement's bad, listen to the minor achievements. Ready? Keep a campfire burning for 3 days straight.
3 in-game days.
In-game days.
How many resources does that take?
Well, burning a log, which is probably the best resource in the game, will give you an hour in game.
Jeff, think Australia. That's the level of resources you need.
That's nuts.
Yeah, just like take Australia, just scoop it up into a big pile, light it on fire.
Yeah, and never mind
they're
the
forest
fact.
fires. The
No, they're
entire
still on
country's
fire.
on fire.
Yeah, and
still
never
good.
mind the fact that like there will be enemies and stuff to try and stop you from keeping the fire lit.
Y'all, there's an achievement. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it.
So
Or did
Dan,
I do
It
it?
sounds like you like to try for those impossible achievements.
I did the achievement. I can't believe I did it back in 2015. Beneath a starry sky. Survive 3 consecutive nights outside.
I'm so,
So-
cold.
Speaking of hard
Much.
achievements, it's not impossible,
Much.
but there is one in Factorio called "It's Raining Lead" or something like that, and it's complete the game. It's
Oh, we're
complete
not
the
going
game without building any laser turrets. And let me tell you something. Like, I think you'd have to almost combine that with one of the speed runs because, Lord alive, the games I've been playing, admittedly, I have the enemy difficulty turned way up. Like I can't even fathom the quantity of bullets it would take to get through that one. Like, I would literally now this half of the factory is for winning the game and playing the normal game, and this half of the factory and all the resources feeding into it are to make bullets.
Oh, you know, a couple hundred of them. A couple hundred of them.
Oh, no, Dino. A couple of million of them would be much more
million.
along the lines of Factorio.
A
Couple of hundred a second, maybe.
You know what I love about Steam? This is going to sound crazy, but you can actually click on global achievements, and it will show you the percentage of people
That have that
have,
achievement, yeah.
that have that achievement. The Long Dark, literally surviving one day in single survival mode games. Survive one day. That achievement, only 50% of people have it that have the game. Only 50% of people have played the damn game.
All right, I want to bring it back to Henry. You were looking through your completion tab.
6% of people.
That I was, good sir. Probably the only other 3 worth mentioning would be Murdered Soul Suspect, Psychonauts, and Tide the Tasmanian Tiger.
Oh, I
Nice.
love that game.
Pretty
Ty's
much all
got
3 of
some
those
good
are
ones.
linear stories, and then a collectathon.
Have you ever
Oh,
played
shit.
that one, Jeff?
I had been eyeballing it on the Switch for a while, but no, I never got around to
You
it.
really should. That's a good one. I would do that one. I would stream that one with you if we were still co-streaming stuff.
That might be fun sometime.
I would stream that with you. But
Yeah, all 3 of those just linear storyline, and then collect shit as you go for all 3 of them. So
Mhm.
very, very much the same. But honestly, all 3 of them really good story. If I had to pick, I probably would put Psychonauts as my favorite out of the 3, though, especially for gameplay wise. So
you did love that game. I also love the story in that game. It's got such good depth. When you enter someone's mind, the just the amount of depth that's
it's
there.
just a unique concept that hasn't been replicated among with anything else, or even come close to it either.
Yeah, the
And
first game.
it was like a sleeper PS2 title too for the longest time that nobody even really has heard of. And it's like, really? I played a demo disc of this game, loved the piss out of it. Wish I could have played it when it was originally on PS2. And it's like, oh, it came out for Steam. Fucking grab me a copy of that shit.
Same. I actually bought the game on Steam and played it because you liked it so much and it was on sale. And oh my gosh, I think I remember playing it in a game store once, long time ago. That's why it stuck with me because it had a really good
Was it a
concept.
Blockbuster?
I think it might be. Maybe, just about, probably. It's like an old-fashioned blocky buster. And I started playing it, and the thing I loved about it is you entered people's minds and the intricacies, in each mind. It was just, like the whole world is shaped depending on how the person thought, what they did, what was going on. And also, Henry, you must beware of the milkman.
Dude, always be aware of the
Always be aware of
milkman.
the milkman.
Shit's
Okay,
legit.
are
The
we
milkman.
are we
He
done with
delivers the
our
milk.
little
He must deliver the
stroll
milk.
down memory lane?
He must
Yeah,
deliver the milk.
but those are all the games that I've completed on my Steam list, at least. For like Xbox 360, I've got like a shit ton of others that I can't look up anymore because I'd have to fire that fucking relic up.
Shovel some coal in the back, and
Ooh, basically, that bad boy's
Save
gonna be
it.
chugging too. He ain't gonna be happy about waking up after all these years.
Well, I mean, you
Do
can
it-
Forever
do the
I
sacred
thought you put
dance.
me into my final
you probably
rest.
have that link to your Microsoft account, right?
Probably somewhere, but then I'd have to look it up and everything.
Yeah,
Nah,
no,
it's
not worth
worth
it. But
that
like,
much.
all anyone needs to know is that someone reported Henry because they thought he was hacking because that's how high his gamer score was.
Yep.
That was so
That
funny.
pretty much says all you need to know
That-
about Henry's dedication to games.
I
that
completely
got
forgot
sold.
about that story. That was one of the best stories that ever did.
Oh my god!
I've
I
heard
about
that,
laughed
like-
my ass off when I heard.
I'm reporting you because you're so fucking good at games. Also, I found it. I just forgot to mention. The highest gamer score, the highest, apparently is from a man named Stallion. Yes, Stallion. His gamer score is, he made it past 1 million.
So I have no concept of how high that is.
Getting
A
one,
lot.
getting the hardest achievement done in a game gives you 100.
Oh my gosh.
So on average, Jeff, completing a game for Xbox 360 was about, I think, 1,000 gamer score.
Mm-hmm.
So
So that's 1,000 games.
1,000
Yeah.
games aced.
And that's
keep in
all
mind
100%
there's also-
completed.
yeah, well, not necessarily, but there's also the arcade games, which I think were 100 gamer score for 100% completion as well that they had. So like Banjo-Kazooie, when it was released for 360, was an arcade game that had 100%. 100% would give you 100 gamer score.
Yeah, 10
So-
of those counted as one game
so-
you paid for.
That's
Ideally, it was 1,000 games 100% completed, but
but with those smaller titles.
yeah.
If it was just all the smaller titles, that would be what, 10,000? 10,000 Banjo-Kazooies.
So somewhere between 1,000 and 10,000 games.
That's
Mind you,
ridiculous.
Jeff,
100%.
when you
Yeah,
say
exactly.
Jeff, when you say 10,000 Banjo-Kazooies, you only got one recording of it on your account. Like getting the achievement done. You can't just fire it up, do it
I don't-
again.
No, I don't mean
But-
like one,
yeah.
like
So that'd be
playing Banjo-Kazooie 10,000 times.
Banjo-Kazooie and otherwise
I would
games.
do it.
Yeah, I'm basically
He
saying
would.
10,000
He
Banjo-Kazooie
would.
equivalents.
Dude, if you could
Yeah.
repeat achievements, Henry would be like, yo, look at my times 12 beat Banjo-Kazooie in less than 30 minutes.
Can you imagine what it would be for me for Mario 64?
Oh my
Be pretty
goodness.
poggers.
I'd
That'd be
probably hit the
cool.
million just with that. All right. I didn't get to say yet which games for me are the ones that I think lean towards 100%
Lay it on
completion
us.
for me. So for genres, it's 2D platformers and 3D collectathons generally are the ones that I try to 100% complete. I mentioned earlier I am not an achievement hunter. At one point I tried to be, but in general, I get 100% of the items in the game. That's good for me. And the games that I think lend themselves the best to that are the 2D Mario games and the 3D Mario games.
I thought you were going to say Legend of Zelda.
In particular, Mario 64 and the new Super Mario Bros. Series, just as a general rule. And the Yoshi games, particularly Yoshi's Island and Yoshi's Woolly World, those are a joy to 100% complete for me. And Mega Man X 1 and 2, those ones are a lot of fun to 100% complete. I love those. But yeah, just generally games like that. And most of the Zelda games I try to 100% complete as well. But those are the games that I really try to 100% complete because it's either very fun to do all the challenges and or it's beneficial to do so. Like getting all the heart containers and heart pieces in The Legend of Zelda and all the upgrades makes you stronger in the game. But one thing that ties all those together is that, especially nowadays, the games that I try to 100% complete might be hard to do, but it doesn't take that much time. Like the Mega Man X games, you can 100% one of those in like 2 or 3 hours, if you know where everything is. Or if you're playing it for the first time, maybe like 15 or 20 hours to like without a guide. But that's kind of my jam. Like that 20-hour mark is like my sweet spot. And those are the games that really lend themselves best to that for me, I think. Or like indie games like Celeste. I got all the strawberries in that game. Not all the golden strawberries though. I got like 2 or 3 of the golden strawberries.
I got all the melons too and Yoshi's.
I can get all 30 melons and quite a few Yoshi story courses.
Oh my gosh. Hey, my name is Jeff. I'm actually making a very, very difficult to make fruit salad in the digital world.
Here's all the melons. I hope you like melons, guys.
Here's the melons. Here's the strawberries. Oh, shoot. We need to get the legendary lemons over in Mario. Hold on. Where's the twin cherries? We need twin cherries.
That's in Mario 3D World, my friend. But
Sorry,
yeah, there you go. There's the games I like to 100% complete.
I'm just laughing about the fact that your greatest achievements are fruit oriented.
He likes Pac-Man. Pac-Man is his role model in life.
Oh yeah, he does like Mrs. Pac-Man. Oh jeez.
Oh, and I should mention as well, by the way, like those games in particular and games like them. I 100% completed Ukulele. I 100% complete the Donkey Kong Country games. Just that genre of games, that's the one I like to 100% complete. And achievements are not factored in there for the most part.
Fair enough.
So yeah, that's pretty much that. Anybody have any thoughts that you want to wrap up with?
Closing statements. Well, to everyone that has watched this podcast, you get an achievement for finishing this podcast. So congratulations to our viewers. Yes, congratulations. Yes, you get an achievement for listening to the
100,000 gamer
achievements.
points just for listening to this whole podcast.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
It's worth it. It's worth it. You just got to talk to Microsoft. See if you can find a person named Karen. And
The Gaming Corner what now?
the Gaming Corner Achievement podcast. Just go up to Karen and say, "Hey, I want to redeem my my Xbox Gamer points. Can we make this happen?"
This video here says it only has 18 views.
That is just because your glasses.
Only so many people.
Are a little foggy.
Only so many people have the guts to 100% complete a podcast of ours.
I don't think that's a good thing, Jeff.
Oh no!
You know what? No, that could be either a good or a bad thing.
Speaking of which, Jeff, that reminds me of the time that Chase watched our videos like 20 times. He's like, "Yeah,
no, it wasn't 20.
Oh no,
It was
50?
100.
It was 100 times.
So
but he kept skipping it.
What Daniel is referring to is when we uploaded our very first episode of Super Mario 64, when we first started this channel. On YouTube, I should clarify. Our YouTube channel. We started our first episode of Mario 64. We uploaded it. And like the next 2 days, after the first 2 days, Chase messages me and says, "Dude, you guys already have 100 views." I'm like, "Really? No way." He's like, "Yeah, I refreshed the page 100 times." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." So, average audience retention rate for that video was like 2 seconds. And for a 15-minute episode.
Really good.
It's like,
Honestly, I think that's our longest for every video.
yeah, 3-second retention rate.
Hey guys, do you ever think that someone tried to cheat the algorithm, so they made like
No.
1 minute, 1 second videos that were
No, that's
essentially
impossible.
click? Why is that impossible?
I'm being completely sarcastic. Of course somebody's done that.
Oh no!
But now YouTube values watch time. not audience retention.
Now, do they value Watch Dogs?
But do they value us?
Who does value Watch Dogs?
Apparently, the new Legion game looks good.
Apparently,
people
it
are
didn't
hyped
sell
for it.
well.
I just saw it on the Xbox, the Epic Store when I went and grabbed the free game. Which might I add, Adam, the free game this month is Dungeon 3, the dungeon building game. You know, your favorite.
Anyway, I feel like we have gotten off on a couple too many tangents. Anybody else have any closing thoughts for this completion topic?
Drink some Mountain Dew, get your Doritos, and good luck on your achievements, and have a wonderful day.
All right, Adam, Henry.
Not really. Don't play a game too much and hate it.
Yeah, pretty much. Completion is a tough category to kind of define, and it varies based on the game and like the era of games you're playing them in. But really, completion, it's a very malleable term, I think. And really, for you, it's what you define it to be. For me, it's like, getting all the items in game and not paying any mind to the achievements. But for, say, Gerard the Completionist, he has to get every single achievement to 100% complete a game. What's crazy is he does that once every week or two. But for some people, it can just be, I finished the game. It really does just come down to a matter of preference.
I mean, for some people, it can be, I'm done with this for now. I've got my fulfillment out of it. I'm done.
I felt like that for like a couple of the games that I've played recently. Like, particularly the games I've played on stream the last few weeks or months. Paper Mario, The Origami King, Diddy Kong's Conquest, Donkey Kong Country 2, and Luigi's Mansion 3. I finished all those games and I thought I might come back to them, and then I didn't. So there's that. Love those games. Love all of them, but I didn't come back and complete them. And that's okay. I still feel like I got my enjoyment out of them.
That's okay. That's all I wanted.
But I guess that's kind of the point. Like, this completion thing, kind of hard to define. Really depends on the person. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I think it's really, each person has their own, marker where they'll be like, yeah, I'm only going to play to this point. If it gets to a certain amount of stress or required folly-roll and fiddle-dee-dee, I will pack it up.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I think that covers the topic well, though. So, we don't have any viewer questions this week, do we?
Not this week, but
Okay.
if anybody has any questions, comments, anything that they want to ask us for the next podcast, feel free to put them in the comments or our Discord server. We'd love to answer your questions, guys. So, let us know your thoughts. But guys, I think that pretty much wraps up episode 4 of the Gaming Corner podcast. Daniel, you have live streams, and you mentioned them a couple of times this podcast. Where can these lovely people find you at?
On the internet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/DanceWarrior777.
Get fucked.
Oof. Oh, I felt that right in the butt. Ooh.
I don't know if I want to know what that means, but describe your streams for the lovely viewers. Why should they watch you, Dan?
Why should they watch me? I don't know why. It's their choice at the end of the day.
That's a great elevator pitch.
Hey, if you don't like it, don't like me.
Dan does the night shift for live streaming. He plays games like the Dreamscaper, Killing Floor 2, Risk of Rain 2.
Wow, someone remembers all my streams.
The Long Dark.
Oh my god, Jeff, that's all of them.
there's more, I think, but yeah.
No, honestly, those have been the main three.
That game where you got the ending where you became dog food.
Yes, that was House of Horror. So
House of
one
Horror.
of my viewers recommended I go back to it, but I told him I don't want to because each DLC is literally one story. But yes,
And-
the dog food one, in which if the apocalypse happens and you're at the shop, the dog reaches over, grabs you, and then pulls you into the shop and turns you into dog food.
And I remember the screenshot at the end of that was like an eyeball sitting next to a dog
Yes.
bag.
Dog bag, and all you hear from me is, what? Yeah!
Yeah,
As I
yeah.
realize the cute little puppy dog shopkeeper just committed manslaughter.
So there you go. Those are the games that Daniel
Whew.
plays over on Dance Warriors 777. If
Yeah.
you wanna tune into those, give them a follow.
Yeah, give me a follow if you enjoy watching me suffer in interesting ways.
Yep. And myself, I have a YouTube channel. It's The Yoshi Fanatic. Search The Yoshi Fanatic on YouTube. I live stream once a week, typically Saturdays, starting around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Play a lot of Nintendo games. And this week, I'm starting The Legend of Zelda, The Minish Cap. Happy Zelda Month, everyone.
Oh, I love Legend of Zelda. That's actually one of
And-
my favorite games.
And I'm also working on a new video coming up. I've got a lot of work to do left on it, but it's answering the question, is Yoshi's Woolly World really better than Yoshi's Crafted World? It's going to be a good time. So if any of that sounds good to you guys, feel free to go over and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's The Yoshi Fanatic. Adam, Henry, do you have anywhere that you want to direct the fans?
I was going to say...
Hell no.
Oh,
No, I think I'm good too, Jeff. So
Okay, and
guess we're
one more
signing out till next time.
One more thing before we go, though.
Yep.
We still haven't gotten around to uploading the audio-only podcasts, but when we do, it's going to be the Gaming Corner podcasts on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever else you guys think we should upload our podcast. But
we're going to...
yeah,
Holy cow, the whole world's going to know I'm on a podcast.
heck yeah, dude, that's the goal. But guys,
That's
that's going to
alarming.
wrap it up for this episode. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time on the Gaming Corner podcast.
See ya.
Guys, I'm scared.
Well,
Help me.